Hey, what's up? How's it going? It's the boy Don Slice in the one, all the even depending on where you're right now. Today it's gonna be a new episode of What If Deku had a Sharingan. Today we're gonna be going over the sports festival and really what happens in the aftermath of the USJ. We have new stuff revealed, like Izawa has the Sharingan she got from his dead friend, pulled a Kakashi and Obito. Wow, he really put a Kakashi no Obito. If you read the manga, you kind of know what I mean. But whatever. Basically, yeah, I've said enough. If you've seen the thumbnail, you kind of know what's going on. Or maybe you don't, because, you probably don't know what's going on. Maybe you're a little confused, but you get a good idea of what the episode's going to be about. But anyway, that being said, let's get into it. After the incident at the USJ, students of Class 1A took the time to get settled in. The heroes would discuss the villain's attack, and the students would try to grow from the experience. One day during class, Aizawa would inform the students of the upcoming sports festival, and All Might would let Izuku know that his time limit has decreased down from 2 to 50 minutes. He'd also congratulate Midoriya on seemingly getting a handle on his full cowl, and would tell him that he would need to focus on making the form feel more natural to naturally let the percentage at which he can use it grow like the normal growing process. Also to focus on using his Sharingan and tangent with One for All. In terms of the sports festival, this was his time to make his big debut and tell the world, I am here. Midoriya would understand and take this to heart. Then, after class, a crowd appeared in the hall to scope out the competition for the sports festival, and Bakugo, of course, would talk the most crap. After hearing Bakugo's arrogance, Shinzo walked out from the crowd and declared war on Class 1A, saying that he was aiming for a spot in the hero course. Tetsu also wanted the smoke and made it known. The students of UA then took the time to get ready for the sports exams, and before they knew it, they had arrived. As the students of Class 1A got ready in the locker rooms, Shoto approached Zuko and said, Hey Midoriya, on an objective basis, I'd say that you and I are two of the strongest in this class. Though, it seems like you also caught the eye of All Might. I won't pry though. Simply put, I am definitely going to beat you. Izuku glared back at Shoto and said, You're definitely strong, Todoroki, but you're too cocky. I've been training my hardest, and I know everyone else has too. This could end with me and you, but it might not. You might not even make it that far. I'm just gonna give it my all, and you better do the same. Kirishima, after hearing that, could only go, That was so manly. The class then stepped onto the scene. While stepping into public, Midoriya still got super nervous seeing so many people. As the students grouped together, the Pro Hero Midnight called up the student representative, Izuku Midoriya, who got first on the practical exams. His classmates would be happy that they got someone sensible and likable. Izuku nervously walked up to the mic to do a speech. When he got up there, he was extremely nervous and didn't know what to say. As his brain was all jumbled, though, he looked into the crowd of students, making out, specifically, Shinzo, Todoroki, and Bakugo. He then thought about what All Might had said, and was able to get his thoughts in order. What I have to say is simple. I'm going to give it my all, and I expect all of you to as well. This is a chance to show who we are and what we're made of, so let's not hold anything back. At hearing that, the other students and people in the crowd began to clap and cheer. Midoriya then walked back to his class, and as he did, he fell over from his nervousness and was caught by Kirishima and Tokoyami that told him he did a great job. The students then got ready to set off to the obstacle course they had to get through for their first challenge. President Mike then shouted, Ready, set, start! The participants were then off. Todoroki took an early lead by freezing the ground, letting him glide on it, and staking his opponents to the ground. Izuku, using his full cowl, and multiple others were able to break through and catch up. Todoroki, with his lead, was then able to encounter the robots first that were set up as obstacles. He throws them in a way that they'd fall, and after they were blocking his competition. Midori would run and jump over and past the fallen bots, and would realize he was using both One for All and a Sharingan. He decided to turn off his Sharingan and attempt to not use all up his strength, but he did want to kind of get used to this full cowl like All Might said. When he came to the tightrope walk, he decided to just use natural strength. By the time he got to the minefield, Todoroki and Bakugo had already gotten a lead on him, and he thought about just using all his strength to blitz through the minefield, but then thought of the same plan from the original to dig up mines and blast himself forward. The problem was that he had nothing to protect himself from the blast since he hadn't taken a piece of the robot from before. He thought about using Todoroki's ice, but then looked back and saw Kirishima gaining. That's when he decided to copy his quirk and just hop on the mines. Which he did. As Suzuki flew through the air, hardening wore off, but at this point it didn't matter. He was flying high and was getting close to the finish. But then he thought, wait, the landing! He was falling down and had to think of a plan. He then thought of one, and just for an instant, he needed to generate enough power. He activated his Sharingan and charged 10% of Wind for All on his leg. He then thought, I gotta make sure this works. He thought about how All Might could create immense air pressure with his punches, and needed to do that at least enough so some mines would go off. To make sure it worked, he pushed past his limits, even a little, and went to 16% and yelled, Wind Shoot Smash! Rather, he sent a kick, and a gust of wind was strong enough to make some mines go off, and the explosion was able to sort of knock Bakugo and Todoroki off their balance, while he got a little more airtime from the shockwave. He lost some feeling in his leg, but he was able to keep on, and he won the race. They then move on to the cavalry battle, and Deku's team would be the same as usual. He'd also give his teammates a simple message. We go for the ones with the highest points, Team Bakugo and Todoroki. He'd planned with everyone and then made the move on Team Todoroki. Before he could reach them though, a group of teams made their move on them before they can get to them. But they were able to use Hatame's jetpack and Ochako's float to avoid all the teams that were ambushing them for the 10 million points. They then landed and made their way towards Todoroki. When they got in front of the team, before either could make a move, Izuku activated his Sharingan and jumped over Todoroki and taunted him into a fight. Todoroki didn't know what was happening, but knew he had to act quickly, so he prepared to attack with his ice. Before he could though, something had came from under him and hit him in the head. As he got his bearings back, he saw that it was Tokiyami's dark shadow. It was reaching up to pull Midoriya down. He also saw that it had taken his headband. As Tokiyami pulled him down, Kaminari zapped Dark Shadow using his electricity, but thanks to Izuku blocking all direct sunlight on him, he was able to take the hit. Izuku then landed on his team, and they tried to retreat. Ida then yelled, "Oh no you don't!" as he used his reciprocal burst, and Todoroki was just barely able to take his headband back. Then the two teams combated each other for the remaining amount of time, and by the end, they simply kept their original headbands, which was good enough to pass. The others, who originally made it, stayed the same as well. As for the fights, most things would stay the same, and as for Midoriya versus Shinzo, Midoriya would still be told about Shinzo's ability, and he'd think it was a shame that he couldn't get into the hero course, so he devised a plan. Right when the match started, he copied Shinzo's quirk, and then used it to make him step out the ring. But as he did, he complimented Shinzo's quirk all the way, to make it better for him, and give him an actual chance to get into the hero course. Then, the other matches went the same, and then came time for Izuku vs Todoroki. As soon as the match started, Todoroki blasted Midoriya with ice, so he had to use full cowl and the Sharingan to easily evade it. That's how it went for a little until Izuku started going on the attack, and Shoto had to start using more and bigger ice attacks, to which Izuku responded by using more power and try to use air pressure again. As the fight continued, Izuku noticed Shoto was slowing down due to all the frost on his body, and to that he criticized Todoroki. He said, "Do you not remember what I said at the beginning of this? You've got to give it your all. You can't beat me with only half of your power." He then copied half hot, half cold, and made them fire in his hand, to which Shoto said, "Stealing my quirk, huh?" Midoriya then yelled out, "Exactly! It's your quirk, not your father's!" At this point, Shoto would have the same revelation he did in the anime, and would proceed to use his fire side, and him and Midoriya would have their final clash. Midoriya would put 100% of One for All into his left arm, while also coating his left arm in fire. The two would rush at each other, and then, even bigger explosion than in canon, destroying the entire ring. As the dust settled in the ring, seen getting up, was Midoriya, who, as he opened his eyes, revealed that he had awakened his three Tomoe during the clash. The crowd erupted, and no one was more excited than All Might. Both Todoroki and Midoriya were rushed to the medical bay though, and then the arena was rebuilt. After Bakugo vs. Kirishima ended in Bakugo's victory, Izuku once again entered the ring to go against Ida. For their match, Deku relied on the light speed tracking abilities and strength of the new Sharingan, waiting for the precise moments to activate One for All, which he can now use freely at 15%, and charge up his legs to shoot wind pressure and win. Then, after Bakugo beat Tokoyami, he would face Izuku. Before the match started, Izuku told his rival, "For this fight, you don't have to worry about me copying. It'll be my power versus yours." Bakugo was delighted to hear that. Then, the battle began, and Izuku went all out from the start. And so did Bakugo, though did he really know any other way? Throughout the battle, Izuku would try to use his Sharingan to look for chances to counter Bakugo and use his power against him. In the end, Bakugo was losing, and he then yelled that he wanted to end it right there and right then. He then used his howitzer impact, and in response, Midoriya charged up a full-power Detroit Smash in his right arm. The attacks collided and once again created a giant explosion. The winner of the clash was then revealed as Midoriya. The stands once again erupted in cheer, as the young lad had given his best, though tired, smile. Then it was time for the awards ceremony. Ida had left due to family matters, so Tokoyami was given the third place medal instead, and he and Bakugo reacted the same way as canon, with Bakugo flipping out due to the fact that he had lost. When it got time to give Midoriya his medal, All Might had his proudest smile and said, "Young Midoriya, you were able to rise above the competition and declare that you are here, in the process even helping young Todoroki. I'm proud of you. Here is your first place medal." Izuku of course cried his eyes out and waved at the camera to his mom so she could see. Little did he know that his mother wasn't the only one watching closely. There were three other specific people that were seeing Izuku's displays of power, and they had very different reactions to most. The first to say to the screen, "Well, Izuku, it seems like you're able to take care of yourself now, but I'll still check up on you from time to time." The second saying, "How interesting. Shigaraki must have overlooked this detail before. It would seem that there are currently three in the world, instead of just one. Interesting, Izuku Midoriya. Or should I say, Izuku Uchiha?" And the final saying, "Well, that's exactly what he shouldn't be doing. What a pain. Looks like I'll be heading to Musa Tafu." Who are these three figures? What is their relation and concern about Izuku? Find all that out and more next time on What If Deku Had the Sharingan? Alright guys, that's going to be the end of today's episode of What If Deku Had the Sharingan. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notifications, and share. That all really helps me out, and it's greatly appreciated. And next episode is going to be, I'm not completely sure. Though, comment down below who you think these three figures are. Your theories. One's probably very obvious, but the other two, try to guess exactly who they are. And yeah, that's going to be it for this time. It's going to be Don Soyce. Soycing out. Later.